Stop Chasing Love, a Stoic perspective on finding true fulfillment. Have you ever felt an intense longing for love, believing that it is the missing piece that will finally complete your life? Society constantly paints love as the ultimate goal, the pinnacle of human experience, the magic force that will solve all our problems. Movies, songs, and books tell us that without love, we are somehow incomplete. But what if I told you that relentlessly pursuing love might actually be a greater obstacle to happiness and fulfillment than a path toward it? Today, we are going to explore a perspective that might challenge everything you've been taught about love. We'll journey back in time and delve into the wisdom of the ancient Stoic philosophers, a school of thought that emerged in the 3rd century BC. Stoicism teaches that virtue is the highest good, rooted in wisdom, and that true fulfillment comes not from external circumstances, but from living in harmony with reason and nature. The Stoics had profound insights into human emotions, particularly when it came to love and relationships. They believed that while love is a natural part of life, it should never become an obsession, nor should we depend on it for our sense of worth or happiness. According to them, emotions, when left unchecked, can become dangerous distractions, leading us away from inner peace. Instead of allowing ourselves to be swept away by passion, the Stoics encouraged us to cultivate self-awareness, self-sufficiency, and emotional resilience. But how do these ancient teachings apply to our modern world, where love is often seen as a measure of success and personal fulfillment? Can the wisdom of Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus help us reframe our understanding of love and relationships in a way that leads to greater peace and happiness? In this discussion, we will uncover why the Stoics believe that chasing love blindly can do more harm than good, and how, paradoxically, by letting go of the desperate need for love, we may actually find a deeper, more meaningful connection with ourselves and others. Love through the lens of Stoicism, a path to inner peace. Love is often portrayed as the pinnacle of human existence, the force that gives life meaning, the answer to loneliness, and the ultimate source of happiness. From literature to cinema, from poetry to music, we are constantly fed the idea that without love, we are somehow incomplete. Society tells us that true fulfillment comes from finding a soulmate, that love will heal our wounds, and that it will make us whole. But what if this pursuit of love, when taken to an extreme, is actually hindering our happiness rather than enhancing it? The ancient Stoic philosophers who dedicated their lives to understanding human nature, emotions, and the art of living well offer us a radically different perspective. Rather than seeing love as the ultimate goal, they viewed it as one of many aspects of life that should be approached with wisdom, self-discipline, and emotional resilience. Love is neither inherently good nor bad. Instead, its impact depends on how we engage with it and the role we allow it to play in our lives. Seneca, love must serve reason, not rule over it. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, wrote extensively about emotions, including love. He recognized that love is a natural and even essential part of human life, but he warned against allowing it to dominate our thoughts and actions. To him, emotions must serve reason, not overpower it. Love, like any other passion, should be experienced with self-awareness and balance. Seneca believed that when love is pursued obsessively or blindly, it has the power to lead us astray from our greater purpose, the pursuit of virtue, wisdom, and inner stability. He compared excessive emotional attachment to a storm at sea, one that tosses us around, makes us lose our bearings, and prevents us from thinking clearly. Instead of being consumed by love, Seneca urged us to approach it with the same rational discipline that we apply to all other aspects of life. Marcus Aurelius, control over our reactions, even in love. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, took this idea even further. In Meditations, he frequently reminded himself and us that our greatest power lies in our ability to control our reactions. Love, like any external event, is something that happens to us. But how do we respond to it? That is entirely within our control. Marcus Aurelius believed that emotions, whether love, anger, or grief, should never dictate our actions. While it is natural to feel deeply, we must always ensure that our choices are guided by reason rather than impulse. If love leads us to act irrationally, to compromise our values, or to become dependent on another person for our happiness, then we have lost control. True strength lies in maintaining our sense of self, even in the face of deep emotional connection. Epictetus: we cannot control love, only our response to it. No Stoic understood the nature of control better than Epictetus, who was born into slavery and later became one of the most respected philosophers of his time. His teachings revolved around a simple but profound idea: happiness depends on understanding what is within our control and what is not. When it comes to love, this principle is crucial. We cannot control whether someone loves us back, whether a relationship lasts, or whether someone stays faithful. No matter how much effort we put in, no matter how deeply we care, another person's feelings and actions will always be beyond our control. What we can control, however, is how we respond to love, whether we allow rejection to break us, whether we let attachment dictate our self-worth, and whether we place our happiness entirely in the hands of another person, preferred indifference. Love is not the ultimate goal. One of the core concepts in Stoicism is preferred indifference, the idea that certain things in life are not inherently good or bad, but rather neutral. Their value depends on how they are used. Love, according to the Stoics, falls into this category. It is not an absolute virtue, like wisdom or courage, nor is it an inherent vice. It is something that can add value to our lives, but only if approached with the right mindset. Love should not be pursued as a means to happiness, nor should it become an obsession. Instead, it should be seen as something that can enhance life when it is present, but should never be seen as a necessity for fulfillment. This concept challenges the modern belief that love is the key to happiness. We are often taught that without love, life is empty. The Stoics, however, argue the opposite. True peace and contentment do not come from external circumstances, not from money, fame, success, or love, but from within. A person who has mastered themselves, who understands their own value, and who does not depend on others for their happiness, is truly free. A new perspective on love in the modern world. In today's world, where love is often romanticized as the ultimate goal, Stoicism provides a refreshing alternative. Instead of chasing love, we should focus on cultivating a strong, independent, and virtuous self. Love, when it comes, should be embraced, but not at the cost of our inner peace. This does not mean that Stoicism rejects love or emotions. Rather, it teaches us to experience them without becoming enslaved by them, to love deeply while still remaining whole within ourselves, to appreciate relationships while recognizing that they do not define our worth, to understand that love, while beautiful, is just one piece of a much larger picture. By embracing this Stoic perspective, we free ourselves from the desperation of seeking love for validation and instead cultivate a life of wisdom, emotional resilience, and self-sufficiency. Love, when it arrives, can be a beautiful addition to an already fulfilling life, but it is not, and should never be, the foundation of our happiness. Why pursuing love can be a trap, a Stoic perspective. In a world that constantly glorifies romantic relationships, it's easy to believe that finding love should be the ultimate goal in life. We are told that love completes us, that a perfect partner will bring us eternal happiness, and that without love, we are somehow lacking. But what if this relentless pursuit of love is actually preventing us from finding true fulfillment? What if, instead of enriching our lives, it is distracting us from the deeper, more meaningful aspects of our existence? From a Stoic perspective, chasing after love, placing it above all else, can be a dangerous trap. Instead of enhancing our lives, this obsession can lead to emotional dependency, neglect of personal growth, and a constant state of dissatisfaction. Let's explore why the Stoics believe that blindly pursuing love can be harmful and how we can cultivate a healthier, more balanced approach to relationships. 1. We surrender our happiness to someone else. When we make finding love our top priority, we unconsciously place our happiness in the hands of another person. We start to believe that our self-worth is tied to whether or not we are in a relationship. Being single can then feel like a personal failure, as if we are incomplete. But the Stoics would argue that this is a fundamental mistake. True happiness, according to Stoicism, must come from within, not from external circumstances, including love. Relying on another person for fulfillment means giving away control over our own emotional well-being. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. If our joy is dependent on a relationship, what happens when it ends? If our self-worth is built upon the validation of a partner, what happens if that validation disappears?" Stoicism teaches us to build a solid foundation of inner peace so that we are not shaken by external events, including matters of the heart. 2. We neglect other important aspects of life. In the pursuit of love, many people sacrifice other crucial elements of their lives' personal development, career growth, friendships, and passions. Their identity becomes consumed by the idea of finding the one, often at the expense of everything else. But the Stoics remind us that a well-lived life is one of balance and self-mastery. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, warned against becoming too absorbed in any single pursuit to the detriment of our overall well-being. Instead of obsessing over romantic love, we should focus on becoming the best version of ourselves. When we cultivate a life rich in purpose and meaning, love becomes an addition to our happiness, not the foundation of it. He who is everywhere is nowhere, Seneca. If all of our attention is fixated on chasing love, we risk being absent from our own lives. Instead of constantly looking outward for fulfillment, we should turn inward and invest in self-growth. 3. We risk getting trapped in unhealthy relationships. When love becomes our top priority, we may ignore red flags, tolerate mistreatment, or settle for relationships that do not serve us. If our biggest fear is being alone, we may accept love in any form, even if it comes with pain, toxicity, or emotional instability. This is why the Stoics emphasize rational thinking over emotional impulsivity. Love should not blind us to reality. Marcus Aurelius advises us to always maintain our judgment and self-awareness, even in the depths of passion. If a relationship is causing suffering, if it is filled with chaos and imbalance, we must have the courage to walk away. A truly strong person does not fear solitude. It is better to be alone and whole than to be with someone and lose yourself. 4. We live in a constant state of lack. Chasing love keeps us in a state of longing. We are always looking ahead, always waiting for that perfect person to arrive and fix everything. But this way of thinking prevents us from being fully present in our lives. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Seneca. If we are always searching for love, we will never feel satisfied. Even when we find a relationship, we may start worrying about its longevity, fearing that it will end, and thus robbing ourselves of the ability to truly enjoy it. The Stoics teach us that contentment is found in the present moment, not in some future event or person. How to apply Stoic principles to love and relationships. Not chasing love does not mean rejecting it. Rather, it means approaching it with wisdom, balance, and self-awareness. Here are some practical Stoic lessons to help navigate love in a healthier way. 1. Cultivate self-awareness. Ask yourself, are you looking for love to fill an internal void? Are you seeking validation from others instead of developing your own sense of worth? Before searching for a relationship, first understand yourself. 2. Love yourself first. Before expecting someone else to love you, nurture yourself. Pursue your interests, grow intellectually, take care of your body and mind. A fulfilled person attracts healthier relationships. 3. Embrace solitude. Learn to enjoy your own company. Solitude is not loneliness, it is a strength. Being comfortable alone means that you enter relationships from a place of confidence rather than desperation. 4. Be patient. Do not rush into relationships just to avoid being single. The right connection will come naturally. Love should be an addition to your happiness, not a remedy for loneliness. 5. Maintain independence within relationships. Even in love, remember that your happiness should not be dependent on another person. A healthy relationship consists of two individuals who complement each other, not complete each other. 6. Master your emotions. Stoicism does not teach us to suppress emotions, but to understand and regulate them. Love comes and goes, but our ability to remain steady in the face of change is what defines true strength. The Stoic philosophers remind us that love is not a prize to be chased, nor should it be the foundation upon which we build our happiness. Instead, love is meant to be embraced fully when it comes, appreciated for what it is, yet never relied upon as the sole source of our fulfillment. True contentment, according to Stoic wisdom, comes from within, from mastering our emotions, cultivating inner peace, and living in harmony with reason. As Seneca profoundly stated, a serene and tranquil soul does not come from avoiding life's challenges, but from rising above them and maintaining mastery over oneself.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.